Hello, welcome to Leap Taken. This is Mika, and here at Leap Taken, I talk about all things witchy, craft related, law of attraction, manifesting, esoteric, and everything else in between. And today I want to talk about being daring to dream, being a witch, practicing magic, of living a magical lifestyle, to being something other than what you were told you were supposed to be. Because for a lot of us, that's what living like this means. I'm going to share a little bit about me, and then hopefully you can learn with some other tips as well that I'm going to give to you. But for me, I always felt like I grew up sort of aware of fairy tales and whimsy and fiction, and that's how I defined it. That's how it was defined to me, make believe. And I loved playing make believe. I found out a lot about myself playing make believe, whether it was the fictional world I made for my Barbie dolls, which low key was basically emulating what I saw on TV, because I watched a lot of soap operas and things like that with my mom, shows like Dynasty and Knots Landing. I'm dating myself for sure, I don't care. Even when I was very little, Dallas, Who Shot JR, it was a whole vibe. But anyway, yeah, like that. Later, or in other times during my childhood, I also would do things like, I had a relative, I would go to their home and spend some time there. They had a wooded area. It was a lot of nature. And I had heard of like fairies and things like that. I didn't think about it like I do as now as an adult. I was a child, so it wasn't a lot of spirituality and all that stuff attached to it. It was just like make believe in my mind, and a what if. I loved, what if it's real? What if they're really out there? What if, there's like gnomes, and what if, I would think like that as a little kid, and I would get really excited. Fast forward to when I'm older and I have an opportunity to go and really, the beach became a different type of place as an adult for me, a young adult. I didn't go as much as I probably should have as a young adult, but anyway, I noticed as I started getting older, the beach, that place became just a magical place for me as well. And a place of releasing, honestly, the beach was cleansing. I mean, think about it, it's the water, it's purifying, the salt, same. I felt like it was stripping away the things I didn't want anymore. And I would just dream that, basically. I would hold that dream in my mind, that imagination, that make-believe. And afterwards, it was work. As a child, those dreams I had of playing make-believe work. So now here you sit, hopefully, I'm assuming if you're watching this, you're probably an adult, and you're probably wondering, well, how do I do this? How do I dream this witchy life, this lifestyle of being, spiritual, hippie, and all the other terms we give to it? Well, start by just being true to yourself. What's true to you? What's true to me is that I believe in things you can't see with the naked eye. I believe I use my tarot cards and my oracle cards, and they deliver messages that I can use in my life and in others. That's step one. I fully immerse myself, and I believe it. I don't need anyone to come in and validate what I believe or I don't. I also believe that within my home, there's a certain energy. I've taken a step further. The energy within my home, house spirits contribute to that energy. I believe that I'm feeding them with activities that take place in the home. I believe that they help and support me, the witch, the practicing witch in the home, because of that. I believe that living a magical lifestyle, true magical lifestyle, involves intuition, because I believe my emotions are valid. I believe feelings are valid. We are not here to just be worker bees and be physical all the time. That is not to ignore the physicality, and that is of being us humans. However, our emotions are deep, and vast and they're worth exploring. And I dream of a life where I get to tap into that energy because it makes me more powerful, not less so. And the best way I can tell you that you just step out and just do this thing, this witchy path that you're being called to, is to just start. Just start. Like I mentioned, my tarot oracle cards. For you, it might be crystals. For a lot of people, it's crystals. And just having belief in the magic of the crystals. Start there. And then add some more crystals. And then you'll be like the rest of us. We have a lot of crystals. And then it becomes a potential issue. But anyway, start small. Learn these crystals that you purchase. Try to connect with them. Be okay if you don't feel anything. That doesn't mean it doesn't work or you're not connecting. No, believe it will. Find a different crystal. Put that one down, cleanse it, pick up another one, come back to it. There's so many ways to approach it. Another thing you can do is just some cleansings around your home. Sage is the most popular one, but what about just boiling some natural, aromatherapy in the home, which is ultimately going to change your mindset. Aromatherapy is a very real thing. It's a very real practice. I also believe that can be included in living a magical lifestyle, by the way. I think it's actually important using all of your senses, including sense of smell. But when I'm talking about using this for witchcraft and magical living and, daring to dream of a magical life, doing these types of things like using aromatherapy, the way it's a little bit more than on the surface than how, let's say, a mundane would use it or mundane purposes, is because you've carefully picked out the scents, the ingredients to make the scent. They're lending a specific energy, prosperity, abundance. So you're going to want to go into your cinnamon, and things like that, and nutmeg. You want to tap into an abundant energy in your home. You want things to flow. At the same time, you need some protection. Maybe you want to add just a bit of rosemary as well. And you want fresh ideas to come into the home. You want creativity, a certain lightness, some oranges, so that's why it's not just, yes, there's more thought, there's intention involved. And that's why those particular items were picked, and that you will put on the stovetop with some water and, let as they boil, let the steam just go simmer, I should say. The smell goes throughout the house, and because you're the one who put the intention into it, what all this means, and that makes that scent even more pleasant, and it stays with you. And now there's a memory connected to that scent, so whenever there's a desire or need or just a reason to keep that flow, that vibration going, you will do the same thing the next week or the next couple days to keep that energy going. That's what I mean about this whole living magical. There's some work, some thought and intention behind it. You're manipulating energy. And this example I just gave you with, the cinnamon, the oranges and all that sort of stuff and what to put on top of the stove, you can find easily on Pinterest ideas to naturally make your home smell good, and they'll tell you to do this. And it gets more magical when you do all those other elements, when you pick things out with their specific intention in mind, with this idea of putting it all together. And that's really, honestly, practical witchcraft right there. And if you want to take it a step further, intuitive practical witchcraft is not looking at Pinterest at all, just going on listening to your higher self, or even being connected by something outside of yourself, whether it's ancestors or spirit or a specific goddess who's working with you and sort of guiding you on what to get, and that extends to candles and what oils to get, what color to get, because you just don't know. And a lot of us are intuitively led because we don't have teachers. We don't have an elder or a close family member or an auntie or someone who's learned in these ways to guide us, because For a lot of us, it was stripped away. For us, those of us who are African American, historically speaking, you know why. And for some, and for those who are not, the other aspect is religion, Christianity to be exact, specifically that and sects of that. Sort of has stamped out any sort of paganism and things like that that would have been in families, and things would have been passed down. But isn't it amazing, even with all that, paganism continues to thrive, New Age continues to thrive, witchcraft, here I am talking about it, we continue to thrive regardless. So even when things are obstacles and just downright, censorship is put into place, still we continue on with, unfortunately, without maybe the same level of, elders who could teach us, or, teachers like we could have had. But that doesn't mean we can't still learn, and that some people are just going to be more adept at learning and mastery, right? And then they can be the teacher that you needed to have when you were a young kid getting into magic, instead of your wise grandmother or auntie teaching you, look, we have different, it looks different now. I believe I'm one of them. It looks a little different, but same energy, people who are connected to the spirit realm, people who are in full belief of living a magical lifestyle while still being firmly rooted in our current reality, and learning to balance it and help you do the same. But yeah, practicing witchcraft, living magically does require being daring. You're gonna need to be a bit daring, a little bit bold, because you're gonna have to be open to seeing things that no one else sees. And even if you can't fully see it in your mind's eye because of stuff, your own limiting beliefs, because that's real. Just knowing it's possible. You can't even see it. You can't envision it, but you know it's possible. And that's being daring. That's dreaming of something. You don't even quite know how to put it in your mind's eye and formulate it, but you know it's real, and you're just going on just raw feeling and intuitiveness. That's being daring as well. And just following that until eventually you start to put the pieces together and a picture does start to form into your mind's eye. And that's something I did. For me, it started with just trying to understand, what did people used to do before Christianity? I remember asking myself that years ago. And then graduating to, well, what did my people do? And then graduating to, okay, so how do I do this? What do I do? What should I do? And then going into, what do I want to do? And just not knowing, seeing, but just a little bit more here, a little bit more there, and just growing. That's one of the beautiful things that I even love about my spirituality. There's room for growth. There's room for slowing down and just focusing on what I know. There's room for revisiting topics and things I've previously studied and pulling them to the forefront and spending a crazy amount of time on something that I've technically mastered. And notice I use quotes because, you can always reuse concepts and ideas that you've used before and that you've kind of exhausted, and they can be brought back out and you can use them again. But anyway, it all starts with being daring, being bold, and believing that I could live out this life that I saw, that I didn't fully have planned, and I knew twists and turns were possible, but it was possible. And that life would involve a life of magic, of creating and sharing and all that sort of stuff. So I invite you to be just as daring, to dare to dream of a life of witchiness, of practicing magic, and whatever that looks like to you. It might be wearing a certain type of clothing, creating the outer look instead. Maybe you start there, getting into the witchy apparel. The makeup, for some of us, that's part of it. and the aesthetic, right? Your background, the things that you have. Maybe that's important to start there and build for you. That's part of being daring right there. And then you build and you escalate and you level up your witchcraft from there. I always say, read all the books that you want to read, do all the things. And when you feel right, yes, put it into practice. But I would just caution you, don't wait too long. That's not good. It's okay to study, and I still read and I study, but I also put it into practice. Be kind to yourself on this path, dreaming of a life of magic and witchcraft and all that sort of stuff. Be kind. You won't look, your magic and your outlook won't even look like someone else's, let alone mine. So it's okay, and be easy with the comparison, especially because of social media. And you thought you did something powerful, and you open up Instagram and someone's done something else, or they claim they have, that seems 10 times more powerful than what you did. Be kind to yourself. We're adults, we know just because it looks this way doesn't mean it is. And even if it is, that's their journey, that's their path, it's not yours. So just be kind to yourself as best as you can. Okay, so I will end it here. Let me know in the comments if you still are at the stage where you're still daring to dream. You're still wondering what is there more, and how to tap into that. I'm just curious. I probably will always be there a little bit. I always think there's a little bit more, so I'm right there with you. But if you want to tell me a little bit more about that in the comments, I'd love to read that. And I think it's helpful for other people too to kind of see that as well. Are you daring? What are you dreaming more of? Learning more about, the Fae? Are you trying, like me, dragon magic? Are you trying to understand more about these ancient primordial beings, and you want to tap into that energy? And how is that possible in 2022 to do that? Is it possible? Are you there like me? So yeah, let me know in the comments. All right, so thanks again for watching. I really appreciate it. Again, I am Mika. This is Leap Taken. Please don't forget to like, subscribe, share. Consider joining Leap Taken membership. There's a nice little short video that explains the different levels as well. And also please check out leaptaken.com. You will not not enjoy yourself, if that makes any sense. No, seriously, check out the website because I do offer services. And you might find something that you might want to try as far as getting help with living your magical life, daring to dream, or even a reading to help kind of sift out what it is that you really want to do. All right, so thanks again. Bye-bye.